Hi, I'm Mike from Michael's Motor Cars, located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And this time, the test drive on this car is a little bit different. This is for our red MGB GT Project car. So I'm going to show you all of the bits and pieces to the engine and transmission that all need to get put back together and put in the car to have a drivable car. So come on a little closer, I'll show you some of these things. As I mentioned in the showroom video, the fellow we bought this car from, he knew the two previous owners, local Lancaster County guy. This car was a very familiar car in a lot of the car shows, drove it quite a bit. He bought the car in the early 80s. He restored the body and the chassis in the mid 80s, 85, 86. He then drove it from 86 till about 2001. Drove it all over the place. 2001, he pulled the engine and trans out, intending to do a full teardown and rebuild of the engine and transmission because he had never done that to the car. That's where the project got stalled, and then it sat under his workbench in his garage for the next 20 plus years. And that's how we purchased the car. What I'd like to do is show you what we've got. Of course, when you're buying something like this, and always my concern is, does it have everything? The fellow that owned the car that took everything apart was very careful. Everything is marked. I can tell when I open up the boxes, he was neat in disassembling, and I believe everything is here from looking at it. The transmission, from his description, was fine. So he wasn't planning on doing anything to that other than cleaning it, probably putting front and rear seals in, but that's about it. But as we go around, if we start at the front here, of course, we have the MG radiator and the front shroud. This car did come equipped with an oil cooler, so that's here. Water pump, various mounting brackets. Here we have the original intake plenum, intake manifold, a heater control valve, exhaust manifold, the headers going down. He does have the rest of the exhaust. That comes with the car. Over here we have, of course, ignition coil, distributor, generator, starter. This is all original parts. This car was a very original car, so I saw no modifications. This is the shifter to the transmission. It does have the wood shift knob, MG shift knob. We then have valve cover. We have a box with the original air cleaners, which were all correct and original. Has some new air filters in there. And here's where we've got the valve train, which looks good. There's some wear, as you would expect, but nothing crazy. He had all of his push rods here. The tappets are here. A couple bearing shells. Looking at this motor, it just looks like an older tired MG motor. There was nothing catastrophic. It was running when he took it apart. You just see the normal wear that you would see in an MG with 80 or 90,000 miles. Very typical. Of course, the oil pan, all the nuts and bolts, the oil pump. He did clean up his carburetors. They're beautiful. The SUs, of course. Looks like he was putting a pressure valve on. Pistons and connecting rods, again, they all look pretty normal. You got your normal wear. No broken rings. They're all free. So basically, just getting a straightforward rebuild. We have all the main bearing caps. And even looking, I was surprised how good the main bearings actually were. I mean, there's a little bit of wear, but nothing significant. So again, to me, it was just a tired motor, but nothing that can't be handled in a regular rebuild. The camshaft looks quite nice. All of the lobes are good. Now, this is from me looking at it. I didn't mic this, but just from looking, there's no significant wear on the lobes anywhere. The bearing surfaces all look fine. So, stock MG cam. Same thing on the crank. It has not been cleaned. I did not mic it, but just looking at the bearing surfaces, your fingernail doesn't catch on anything. There are no grooves or marks anywhere. So I believe this could probably just be cleaned and put back in. The block itself, it is the numbers matching block. It's the original block to the car. We'll take a photo of this. The number that is here matches the VIN of the car. This is the original stamping on the block. Nothing's been changed, so it's an original block. All four cylinders look nice. There's no significant scratches or anything in the bore. So again, I suspect probably just honing it would take care of it. He did have, the one thing I noticed, his clutch was going out. So the car needed a clutch pretty badly. so the clutch was wearing down to the metal. So I did see there's a little bit of grooving in the pressure plate, so that would probably need to be replaced. The flywheel was fine. The flywheel did not get grooved at all. So obviously clutch disc and pressure plate. These are the plates that go between the engine and transmission, of course. The cylinder head, he did get that cleaned. I don't think it was machined at all, because these look like original valve guides, so probably would want to do those. And all the valve seats look okay. So I think probably lap the valves into a valve job would take care of that. No significant marks on the mating surfaces of the head. All the cylinders were sealing properly. Everything looks good. No water leakage or anything that's visible. Just to show you, I didn't do any of this, but when he took it apart, everything was marked, number 4 exhaust valve, springs. So that's what I like to see when somebody does a motor like this. They're careful when they take it apart, and it's a good way to buy something. So there you have it. I suspect that the motor could be done relatively straightforward rebuild, rings, bearings, valve job, and you'd have a very happy MGB. I cannot see anything that's missing. If you see anything and are not sure, please contact us. I'll be happy to look for you. We went through pretty much all the boxes. We also have the transmission mount that goes under the car. So what a great project to do. I would do it myself if I had more time. I love stuff like this. So please, again, if you have any questions, ask us. But it's going to be a great project car. Thanks for taking the time and watching the video.